Hello and welcome to myminimaths.co.uk video tutorials. And today we're going to be looking at subtracting or taking away with 3-digit numbers and 2-digit numbers, and we're also going to be looking at borrowing to allow us to complete the calculation. And so first of all on to question 1, which is 739, and we're going to subtract 225. So first of all, I'm going to start with 739, and we're going to subtract 225. So if we make sure we set it out into our units, our tens and our hundreds, always making sure that they stay in the correct columns and lines. So first of all, onto the units, or sometimes called ones. We have 9 ones, take away or subtract 5 ones to leave us with 4 ones left over. Then we have the tens, so that's 3 tens, take away 2 tens, 30 subtract 20, leaves us with 1 10, a single 10. And then finally, the hundreds column, we have 700 subtract 200 to leave us with 500 for a final answer of 514. And what we can do is we can break this calculation down into its separate columns, its hundreds, its tens and units. So we'll start with the hundreds. We have 700s, there's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 and 700. Then we have the 30, so that's 10, 20, 30, 3 tens. And finally the 9 or 9 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're going to subtract the 225 from that 739. So let's start with the units. So we have 9 units or 9 ones, subtract the 5. So let's take away the 5. There's 3, 4, 5. And that leaves us with the 4 left over in the units column. Then we have our 30, and we're going to subtract 20. So that's take away 2 tens. There we go. And that leaves us with the single 10 in the tens column. And then finally, we start with the 700s, and we're going to subtract 2 of them. So that's 1, 2, and that gives us, or leaves us with 500 in the hundreds column for a final answer of 514. And next we're on to question 2, which is 41, and we're going to subtract 16. And first of all, we're going to have 41, and we're going to subtract 16, so that's 1 10 and 6 units. So first of all, onto the units, and we're going to take 1 apple and take away 6 away. Now, we can't really do that, can we? So what we need to do is we need to move over to our tens, and we need to borrow 1 of these tens from the 4 tens. So if I borrow a 10 from the 4 tens, leaving me with 3 tens for 30, and bring that extra 10 over. So now I have 11. So 10 plus the 1 minus the 6 leaves us with 5. And then finally in the tens column, we have the 3 tens that were left over. Take away the single 10, leaves us with 2 tens for a final answer of 25. Now this is called borrowing, where we need to borrow from the larger column in order to give us the right number to take away in the smaller column. And if I break it up into our tens and units, you can see how this works nice and clearly. First of all, we have 40. So that's 4 tens. There we go, 10, 20, 30, 40. I have a single one or a unit. There we go. Now, as we can see, we want to subtract the 16 here. So first of all, if we look at our units, I need to take away 6 away from the 1. But clearly I can't do that, I don't have enough. So what we can do is we can borrow one of these tens and place it with the unit to give us 11. And what we can do now, if we break these down, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus the extra 1. There's my 11 ones, and I'm going to take away 6 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that leaves us with 5 units. And then finally, we have our 3 tens that remain here. And we're going to remove just the one of them. So subtract 1, and that leaves us with 20, like we have in the answer. So for a final answer of 25. And next we're on to question 3, which is 83, and we're going to subtract 55. So here we go. We have 83, and we're going to take away 55. So starting off with the units, we're going to take 3 apples and take away 5 apples. Well, clearly we can't take 5 away from 3, it's too many. So what we're going to do, we're going to borrow a 10 from the tens column. That leaves us with 7 for 70, and bring that extra 10 over here to make 13. And so we're going to use the 13, take away the 5 to leave us with 8, and then finally onto the tens, to the 7 tens that were left over, subtract or take away the 5 to leave us with just the 2 tens for a final answer of 28. And again, if we break that into 2 numbers, so we have 83. So let's have a look. That's 1 10, 2 tens, 3 tens, 4 tens, 5, 6, 70 and 80. And we have 3 units. That's 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to subtract this 55 here. So first of all, we're going to look at the units column, and we're going to start with our 3 units and take away 5. Well, again, that's just too many. So we're going to borrow one of these tens and place it here into the ones or the units column. So altogether, we have our original 3 here, plus an extra 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So altogether, we have 13, and we're going to take away, subtract 5 of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For a final answer of 8 units. And then finally, we're going to start with 8 tens, which is now 7 tens because we borrowed 1, don't forget, and we're going to take away 5 of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that leaves us with the 20 here for a final answer of 28. And finally, question 4. We're going to start with 95, and we're going to take away 48. So we have 95. We're going to subtract 48. So start with the units. We'll start with 5 apples, take away 8. Well, that's too many. So we're going to need to borrow from the tens column. So we'll start with 9 tens, that's 90. I'm going to borrow 1 and bring it over here, which leaves us just with the 80, the 8 tens. And I'm going to take my 15, take away the 8 to leave us with 7 ones, or 7 units. And then finally, the remaining 8 tens, take away the 4 tens, leaves us with 4 for 40, for a final answer of 47. And again, we can break this number down into 90. That's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And the 5. So that's 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to subtract the 48. So first of all, we're going to subtract 8 ones away from the 5, which we can't. We haven't got enough. So what we need to do is we need to borrow one of these tens and bring this 10 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that goes into the ones, or the units column. So altogether now we have 15, and we're going to subtract 8. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that leaves us with 7 units. And then we're starting off with the 8 tens, the 80 remaining after we borrowed 1, and we're going to remove or subtract 4 of them for 40. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that leaves us with 40 for a final answer of 47. Thank you very much for listening today, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Take care.